Man, oh man. Let's go ahead and get in this topic of conversation. So we have Mary Kay. Mary Kay has come out with another take with her resources and with her opinion based off on what she feels that she has heard and what she feels with her opinion is that Deshaun Watson is the leader and should be the QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. And you can't help but think every time you hear Mary Kay, it's always something that it can be perceived as disrespect towards Shedeur Sanders. Every time she has it's something about Mary Kay that she feels that she wants to disrespect Shedeur Sanders every chance that she gets. She makes it a point every time when she communicates. Is this like obsession that she has to always make Shedeur Sanders look bad every chance that she get. So let's go ahead and get into it. So right here, and this is on the Cleveland Browns website. And the article is how Deshaun Watson leads Shedeur Sanders after first minicap, sources say, and has the inside track to be named QB1. And this is from Mary Kay Cabot. And let's kind of get into far as with this article right here. Now it says that Deshaun Watson emerged from the Browns' voluntary minicap last week with an edge over Shedeur Sanders in the two-man quarterback competition. Now, and has the inside track to be named the Browns QB1, sources tell Cleveland.com. Now, Coach Todd Monken hopes to declare or at least identify his starter by the end of Browns minicamp, which would be between June 9th through 11th, meaning Sanders has about 6 weeks to close the gap and try to overtake the former three-time Pro Bowler. This is my question. Where are your sources? Did Todd Monken say this? Because every interview Todd Monken has done, he has not come out his mouth not one time stating that Shedeur Sanders is the QB2. In fact, Todd Monken has said several times is that Shedeur Sanders will be getting most of the reps, and it's going to be a competition between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Let's just forget about Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is not even in the picture. But it just seems to me every time when Mary Kay comes out of her mouth, it's always something that she's looking for clicks, she's looking for views, she's definitely getting eyes on her articles because she's making these outrageous takes and these hidden sources. If I haven't heard anything from Todd Monken, see, that's the person you need to hear. Todd Monken needs to be the one saying these things, not Mary Kay. Mary Kay acting like she's getting this directly from Andrew Berry or she's getting this information directly from Todd Monken. I've heard Andrew Berry, I've heard Todd Monken. Not one time from either of those two people have they said that Shedeur Sanders is QB2 and Deshaun Watson will be QB1. This is fluff that's coming out of Mary Kay to start division with inside this locker room. You can't believe everything that you read. So the article went on to say that, but Sanders has plenty of ground to make up, and he will have to dazzle the coaching staff to land atop the depth chart heading into training camp. Now, the Browns learned the hard way last year that their four-way quarterback competition in camp set the first team offense back and didn't enable the starter to develop timing and chemistry with his supporting cast. That's even more imperative this season because the offensive players are learning a completely new system and terminology, and the learning curve is steep. I'm going to tell you just like this. I don't believe a word that's coming out of Mary Kay mouth. And I'll implore you to not believe a word that's coming out of Mary Kay on her article that she's writing. She's definitely looking for clicks and views, and she's definitely to look to start up division to start up confusion within that locker room. I would not pay attention to none of this at all whatsoever. So let's kind of get into this. I want to watch a video as we talk about. Let's listen to this right here.
Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental.
Don't want to listen to none of that. Let's go straight to it.
He started a full season with 4,823 yards. So I do think that it stands to reason that he's going to stand out as the superior quarterback in a competition like this, right? I mean, he was a first-round pick. Shedeur Sanders was a fifth-round pick. So I do think that, it stands to reason that he would look better in these practices. But I do think it's also significant because this is a Cleveland Browns football team that has a brand new offense, 5 starting linemen, 2 new rookie receivers. And just the way that I look at it is I think they are going to need a veteran presence to pull it all together. Deshaun's going to have to slide the protections, manage the motions, make adjustments at the line. They're going to have a rookie left tackle, 2 rookie wide receivers, a brand new offensive scheme, a new play caller, new terminology. That's a lot to ask of a young quarterback who is still trying to find his own way in the offense. So in my opinion, I would go ahead and just declare Deshaun the QB1 as soon as possible and let him take all of those very precious first team reps in those 10 OTA practices and in the minicamp. I don't think you want to wait until after that because then you're trying to divide up reps. And I said this somewhere earlier today. Was Todd Monken letting Lamar Jackson split reps all through the offseason program? No, he was working and getting his quarterback ready to play. And that's what these guys need to do.
Yeah. And look, Ashley, Cleveland fans, I think, look, they have been in denial over this, and it goes back to when Jimmy Haslam called it a big swing and a miss, right? I think when he said that, people thought, okay, somebody took the blame, it's over. But the thing that we've always kind of come back to on this podcast is like, if Deshaun Watson is healthy and he is on this roster, there is a chance he could get on the field. I mean, we even last year gave it, even if it was a tiny little percentage, said, hey, maybe there's a chance Deshaun Watson plays last season. That obviously didn't happen. He was able to practice again. As the Browns made this decision to keep Deshaun Watson on the roster and spread this contract out instead of doing what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson, what the Dolphins just did with Tua, they decided to keep him on the roster. And the reality of this is, even though Browns fans were in denial, if he's on the roster, there's a chance he could play. And if he's going against, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel and now Taylor Green, there's a good chance he could win that competition. So I'm not really all that surprised by this, if I'm being honest, that Deshaun Watson could be the guy here starting for this football team.
I think that's why we have continuously hammered home the point that there is a sort of divide, I think, and has been over really the last 5 years, like his whole time in Cleveland. But I think it's been especially prevalent over the last 18 months to 2 years that the opinion of Deshaun Watson among the Browns fan base is very different than the opinion of Deshaun Watson among the Browns organization. Like those two things, I think, could not be further from one another. They are practically on opposite ends of the spectrum. I think there was just a large segment of fans that when Deshaun Watson ruptured that Achilles against the Bengals in 2024, assumed that that was it and they would never see him play another snap for their football team. But I think we've been really careful in how we've talked about this, and Mary Kay has done in-depth reporting on it. Like the situation from this past year into now this year, they've spoken of him very highly. They've talked about him being a mentor. He was around the building all last year. It's not like he was some pariah like he was at the end of his time in Houston, where they were like, do whatever off to the side, but you're not really a part of this football team anymore. Like they opened the practice window for him. He's been training there. Like all of these things we know. And I think now it's becoming more apparent to the fan base, like, but we've been talking about this. I think there was just a large sense of denial because, I think people obviously have many different reasons for their opinions on Deshaun Watson, both on the field and off the field. But I think when it comes to his on the field performance specifically, like, it hasn't been the level they thought it would be. So they just wanted to assume that it was going to be over.
Yeah, and then like the Browns haven't given themselves any other real options either. I mean, look, the last time Deshaun Watson played was 2024. If he is the week 1 starter, then it's going to be almost 2 years since the last time he played an NFL football game. And we've been through this before. Like, it looked really bad the last time that happened. And frankly, when he was out on that field, for whatever reason, he did not look very good in 2024 before he ruptured that Achilles. So look, it's not super inspiring to me, this idea of Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback. But the reality of this is, Mary Kay, first of all, it doesn't matter what I think, and it doesn't matter, if it's a popular move. They're trying to start who they believe is the best quarterback for this football team right now. And if they look at this and they say that's Deshaun Watson, then that's what they need to do. Because like we talked about yesterday, this team isn't trying to tank. They are trying to win football games. And, if they could accomplish that dual track of winning football games and also finding out about Shedeur Sanders, great. But if they think Deshaun gives them the best chance to win, especially early in the year, that's the choice they were always going to make. So again, this is the most firm, obviously. This is you're reporting on this, that he's in line to be the QB1, but it's why none of us have ever ruled this possibility out, I think.
That's right. And when you look at the situation that the Browns are in right now, they also have a championship caliber defense, right? And do we really think that the championship caliber defense is going to be ready to head into this season with something less than a quarterback who can go out there and definitely win some football games and has proven that he can win some football games? Now, again, we have no idea if Deshaun Watson is going to be able to ever return to anything close to his Houston 3-time Pro Bowl form. We don't know that. But in practice right now, he looks better than Shedeur Sanders. And on day 2 of voluntary minicamp, when we were not allowed to be out there, he went first in the 11 on 11s, and including like 2-minute and red zone and some things like that. And he just earned those reps. He earned those first team reps. Now, does this mean that Shedeur cannot pull out of this and somehow come from behind and make this?
This is absurd. This is absurd. Listen once again. Listen with a third ear on what I'm saying to you. There's no way in hell that you can tell me off of day 3 that Deshaun Watson is clearly in front of Shedeur Sanders. There's no way. She's lying. This is all based off on her opinion. This is all based off, and it's personal for Mary Kay. She's the same person that said that Dylan Gabriel was a supercomputer and was someone that was better, that the Cleveland Browns felt that was way better than Shedeur Sanders. This is the same person. The same person. She was in cahoots with the former coach, Kevin Stefanski, in spewing these lies, the manipulation to the media, to the people, to have people think that Dylan Gabriel was a much better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. You heard it. And she's doing the same thing here. Deshaun Watson has not played in several years. He's going to be rusty. He's going, and you have to ask yourself this question. Is Deshaun Watson is the type of person you want to lead your football team based off on the decisions that he's made even off the field? Is he the right representation of someone that you want to lead your football team based off on his poor decisions that he's gotten himself into off the field. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Shedeur Sanders is clearly, to me, in my eyes, is someone that has the moxie of leadership, who is tough, someone who is positive minded, someone who does not get themselves in trouble off the field, someone who is motivational, someone that the team rallies behind and supports Shedeur Sanders. And then you have this Mary Kay that wants to stick her mouth and write an article and start up foolishness again this season, stating that Deshaun Watson is going to be the better option to lead this football team to win this season. How do you know that, Mary Kay? How do you know that? How? What stats shows you this? What actions shows you this? Period.
A real bona fide competition sometime in training camp. I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, but if we all remember, and I'm sure everybody does remember this, that Todd Monken has been saying over and over and over, he wants to come out of spring ball with a depth chart. Okay. He wants to come out of there with a depth chart. And I think that's the point here, is that I think he's getting to the point where he's going to be ready to say, Deshaun is number 1, Shedeur is number 2, Dylan is number 3, Taylon Green is number 4. And then you dole out the reps accordingly from that. He knows how to get a football team ready to play, and he knows how to get a good playoff team ready to play. He's been with the Ravens for the last 3 years. So he's going to do things here in a way that he knows works, right? I mean, he's been around some very, very good football teams. And especially, again, the Ravens over the last 3 years. He knows what it takes to get a quarterback ready to play. And we have written this and talked about this, that he has harped on the fact that John Harbaugh has told him and advised him and demonstrated to him that this important time of the spring is really all about the work. And the work is important at this time of year. And if it's that important, and it is, I've heard Joe Burrow say how important it is, I've heard the Chiefs say how important it is, then you need to use this time to get your first team offense ready to play. And it's different this year because everybody on the offense is either new to the football team or new to this brand new scheme. So everybody's learning a terminology. Everybody's new. Most of them are young. And if you want to field a functional, operational offense that can score more points than you have over the last 2 years, which was 15-something and 16-something, unacceptable, not up to NFL standards, you have to get that work going now. You have to get it going now. I've watched too many Browns training camps over the last several years where there just wasn't enough first team offense cohesively running 11 on 11s, right? Didn't happen enough last year. Certainly didn't happen enough the year before. That was in part because there were a lot of injuries, but they were also installing the Ken Dorsey offense, whatever. There was never really over the last 2 years just this, okay, this is what it's going to look like when we put it out on the grass, when we put it out there during the regular season. And that has to end. That's got to end. And I would have to think that Todd Monken understands that time is of the essence, and they absolutely have to get working together. They're going to have a rookie left tackle, right? You're going to have to make adjustments in the lineups. You've got 2 rookie receivers. They're not always going to know exactly where they're going to need to be on every single play. They're just getting their playbook now, right? They're just getting it now, and they have to look like really ready to go in OTAs in May. And then they have to have it memorized and down pat by the time they come back in July. It's time for these guys to work with their starting quarterback. And it's time for you to have a veteran quarterback that can get those guys lined up the way that they need to, or make adjustments, or correct mistakes, change the play, call an audible, slide the protection, do whatever you have to do. It's a lot to ask a very inexperienced young quarterback to do all of those things. I don't see that happening. I think it's time to roll.
What?
And see, and that's where I totally push back on that 110%. Totally push back on that because she's entitled to her opinion, but I believe in looking at her track record, ever since Shedeur Sanders has gotten there, she has tried to marginalize and undervalue what Shedeur Sanders brings to the table. She's tried to marginalize him, toe tag him because he's a 5th round pick. And we all know, anybody with common sense know what happened in that draft last season. Shedeur Sanders was not a 5th round pick. He was not a 5th round pick. This was a bush league play by them NFL owners that they wanted to prove a point to Deion Sanders and to Shedeur Sanders. We're going to buck break you as much as we can. We're going to break you mentally and let you know you're in the big leagues now. You're going to do what we tell you to do, boy. And that's exactly what they was trying to prove to Deion Sanders and Shedeur.
And you said like they might have a rookie left tackle. Well, they will have a rookie left tackle.
Exactly.
They might have a rookie center. Like what if Parker Brailsford wins? Yeah, he's a 5th round pick, but what if he wins this job and they want to put Elton Jenkins at guard? Like I mean, I could see a scenario where that happens. So you could have two rookie offensive linemen. And Todd Monken said at the combine, didn't he say like, 2 is okay? Like he could live with that. So or you could have Luke Whippler out there at center. And he's really young. So there's a lot of scenarios where you could have a couple of young offensive linemen out there. And, Ashley, I think just this idea of I don't know what Deshaun can be, but just having a guy that can function and run the offense and protect the football, that is one thing he did do well back in 2024. And I almost feel like that's part of why Kevin stuck with him for so long, is because he was doing a good job of protecting the football, even though they weren't winning games. I don't know what this looks like. I mean, 2020 was forever ago, but if he can be a top, 16, 17 quarterback in the NFL, you can run a functional offense with that. So I can understand why they might look at this and say, this is what we need to start the season. And I'm with Mary Kay on this idea of a quarterback competition doesn't help you. The people that a quarterback competition is best for is us. Like,
it sounds like a joke. A joke. Quarterback competition in general is very helpful. It brings the best out of you. Competition can be healthy, especially if it started on a strong foundation of giving equal opportunity to the players that are competing for that position. See, what happened last season is that you had a liar, a manipulator in Kevin Stefanski that said that it was going to be an open competition, but we further realized that it was never an open competition. It was one-handed. It was built off on lies and deceit and manipulation. So when you have someone that is a liar and deceitful and manipulates people, and it was never an open competition, that's when it becomes unhealthy. That's when you bring division within the locker room. And that's what Kevin Stefanski did, which turned out to be by you giving all the reps to Dylan Gabriel. And when Dylan Gabriel had his opportunity and his time to shine, he could not shine because he was not better than Shedeur Sanders. And I'm telling you right now, Deshaun Watson is not better than Shedeur Sanders. But what I like about Shedeur Sanders, and the reason why you should go at Shedeur Sanders, is because the Shedeur Sanders does not come in here thinking that he is better than the next man. He comes with a positive attitude. He has a positive aura about himself. Even when he talks to the media on what he said, yeah, I went to Deshaun Watson and, he's gave me some good input and some things. So, and I respect what Deshaun Watson has done. So we're a team. Even what he have said to the media, even for us in minicamp, is that what we need right now is the media to have positive energy. We need the media to uplift us, not to bring that negative manipulating spirit into the locker room. And this is what we have with Mary Kay old. She's setting the tone and up to her old bag of tricks again. Period. Just as simple as that. She's bringing that negative energy back again, want to manipulate the media. She wants to manipulate the fans. She wants to manipulate Todd Muckin and Andrew Berry again, like what she was doing last season. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. Y'all let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about Mary Kay's opinion in her article that she wrote saying that Deshaun Watson should be the quarterback one and that he's going to give the Browns the best opportunity to win football games this season over Shedeur Sanders? Y'all let me know how you feel in the comments below. Until next time, man, y'all stay tuned to the next live stream video. Peace out.